Check, check. Mic check. I remember parties out in the park. Nothing but girls at the dark. We chill. Nobody gets ill in the place. We call the hip it if you try them. That's when they will get wild. But they don't fight. They kill at the Wild Wild West. Boom. Classic. Cool Mo D. What's going on, y'all? Hello, America. Hello, world. Hello, you. It is your new best friend, Cashmere, California. And this is the Pod is Good podcast, aka the Notorious P.I.G. Episode 44. Pod is good. And all the time. If you know, you know. If you don't keep listening, you will learn. This is the Scoreboard Show. We are recapping NFL's week number 5. This was an interesting week. We had some upsets this week. We had some moments. We had some moments we're going to talk about. Some players that did some things that we need to talk about. Some teams that elevated themselves this week. We're going to get into it coming right now. Gentlemen, what's going on? What's going on?
All right, all right.
Welcome back. Welcome
Good
back.
with it.
Let's go through
Hey,
a quick introduction for those that don't know. Starting with my Saints fan, Devout. How you been, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yes, sir.
Had a bad week, but I'm still feeling good.
There you go. My man Steph, 49er fan. What's good with you?
another beautiful week. That's all I can say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vance Boog, my Raider fan. How you feeling? There you
I'm
go.
all right, man. I'm here.
There you go. There you
Here.
go. And of course, I represent the Cowboys. Our Eagles fan couldn't be here so far. You know, he figuring, and that's cool. That's cool. You know, if the Eagles ain't here, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. We can keep the party going without them. But we're gonna start with Saturday. You know, let's start with a little college football. I'll be honest, I don't watch a ton of college games, and I feel like I need to do a better job. Coach Prime has definitely brought me more into the fold. You know, they've made Coach Prime literally prime time for college football this entire season. So let's talk about the Colorado Buffaloes losing, but a respectable loss to the USC Trojans. Who watched that game?
I watched some of that game. It was USC was doing a real good job. They was up pretty big, like 48-21, and then all of a sudden Colorado caught fire, and SC just they held them off. But if it was a few more minutes left in that game, I think Colorado would have come back and tied that game up. But
Yeah,
the quarterback for USC, he's still doing his job over there. And Colorado, their quarterback, Dion's son's playing pretty good over there for
yeah,
Colorado.
sure. Yeah. He was looking real good. By the time they got to the second half, I was thinking if the Trojans didn't start with such a dominant first half where they were up by 3 scores, this
Right,
game is anybody's game
Right,
because they,
right,
right.
they
right.
actually they actually outscored each other the same amount of points first and fourth quarter. In the first quarter, it was 14-0 USC. In the fourth quarter, it was 14-0 Colorado. So it's like it really came down to what they did in that second and third quarters. Like it was really anybody's game at a certain point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Colorado did their thing, man. I think a couple of mistakes, you know, offensively wise, quarterback taking a sack, not getting rid of the ball, little clock management, but that comes in learning, man. It's a brand new team for everybody.
Yeah,
And and players. So but it was good. Yeah, it was good.
yeah. It was a good performance. It was definitely good for them to have that kind of comeback after that loss to Oregon. Like they needed that. They got a lot of young players on the team, a lot of players that came, believing in the dream of Coach Prime. They were doing amazing. and all of a sudden they ran into a duck-shaped wall last week, and so it was like, I know a lot of them had to be feeling maybe we ain't that good. You know, maybe 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 Coach Prime sold us the Kool-Aid a little bit, but then to come back to a team like USC, which hasn't been doing amazing, but they do have, you know, the potential Heisman Trophy winner, you know, at the helm, for them to put up such respectable numbers at the end, because at a certain point it was starting to look like it was about to be a wash.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's like, yo, if they score, like you said, devout, if they score one more time,
Right. Yeah.
tables might turn on this one.
Yeah, SC was running out of gas.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact. All right, let's move into the NFL. Let's let me first ask: did anybody watch the Fun Day football game, the Falcons Jaguars animated in Andy's room?
Nah, it was too
Okay,
early for me.
I'm the only one with little kids, so I'm the only one that watched that. But so basically, I'll give y'all a short recap, very short. So the in paralleled with the real game of Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Atlanta Falcons, they actually had an animated version themed after Toy Story happening at the same exact time. So everything that happened in the real game happened in the animated universe as well. Same exact play, same exact pass, same penalty, same score. Everything was exactly the same. They used this new motion technology and sensors and all these cameras that capture all the motion on the field, and actually had it animated into Andy's room from Toy Story. So it was a really dope way for kids to watch a football game that may kind of get lost and, you know, watching all these adults, and they're talking about um, you know, penalties that they don't understand or making hand gestures that they don't get. It really simplified it for them. And I think the best thing that the NFL did, probably part of their indoctrination, was the commentators broke it down to a kid's level. So they still talked about the game. It still sounded like a professional commentary, but it was they were breaking down the rules and why that was a penalty and what he could have done, and why how far they need to get. And I mean, they really broke it down and simplified it so that a younger person could watch it and like start to learn and appreciate the game, which I thought
Oh,
was really
man.
cool. It was really cool.
Oh. That sounds good. Yeah. I would have liked to see it, but 6:30 in the morning, I wasn't
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Not yet.
I had to set my alarm. I had to wake my son up. I would set the alarm, went in there like, come on, let's watch it. Let's watch it. All right, so moving on from that, let's go. Let's recap the week. Let's recap the week. I want to know how your team did. Deval, we're gonna start with you. How did the Saints do this week in week 4?
Well,
Or-
they uh they have some issues on defense right now. They got a couple of DBs, safeties out, and then they quarterback. David Carr. He's hurt, and he's trying to get out there and play, but
Yeah,
he's hurt, and maybe he should have stepped back this week and just let James Winston. He should have let Winston go ahead and play the game because he just wasn't himself, and then our defense, kind of let us down this weekend. So it was like, and then look, Tampa Bay's no joke. They lost to a good Philadelphia team, and
yeah,
and, and their record shows, three now they 3-1. So they beat some, pretty decent teams. So
yeah. They
that,
put it
that's
together.
telling you, yeah, that's telling you Tampa Bay's got a pretty good team right now. So hopefully, see we can bounce back. We got New England this week. Maybe since New England don't have all that offense, that maybe we might have a shot this week.
Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. That was I didn't expect Baker Mayfield to outplay Carr. I've never been a Baker Mayfield believer. I mean, it seems like the NFL is very much a believer in him because he can't go without a job for 3 or 4 days.
Right, right.
Every get dropped from one team, next team like we'll take him, we want him.
Yeah, right, right. You know, he's over with the Rams. Finished with the Rams last year, and then
Yeah.
look at that. He jumped right in Tampa Bay and got the starting job in Tampa
After
Bay. So
Brady,
yeah, so he must be a pretty good quarterback. You know.
yeah.
You know,
You said what?
at least in practice, he made practice feel good.
Right, right. That's a
Yeah.
fact. That's a fact. That's true. All right, Steph. Let's go to the Niners. What y'all look like this week?
Oh, I just got one word, McCaffrey.
Mm.
Man, McCaffrey hurt, man. Stepping over folks, but at the same
Hold on. Your mic is cutting out. Do you have anything in the background on? Any of the TVs on?
I can cut those off. I
Yeah, shut the audio off those just
no
because it's
audio on. No, ain't no audio on. Hear me
oh,
now?
okay. Yeah, it's a little choppy all of a sudden. I'm not sure why.
Okay. How about now? Still choppy?
No, we can hear you. Maybe you have to bring the energy level. Maybe every time you get too hype, your mic,
Oh,
your mics were made in Arizona. They don't want all that. They don't need all that all that energy.
it might stand, but like I was saying, I like McCaffrey doing this thing, but it's only 4 weeks, man. Getting a lot of balls. Getting
Yeah,
so you gotta pace yourself, man, because McCaffrey, he's known to get hurt. He came in the season,
yeah, he will get hurt.
so that's my only concern. I mean, surely I'm glad he's doing his thing, but at the same time, man, you don't want to hurt him out. This only 4 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, you're still a little choppy, but we heard you. We got you. It's only week 4. You like what he's doing, but you were a little worried about him getting injured because he runs hard. He runs hard, so it's a good thing and a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's like those boxers. Those boxers that fight hard, they don't fight long,
Right.
and it be like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they ranking them number one. They ranking them number one this week.
I don't, I
oh
don't,
man, he's
I don't like that. I know that they probably don't read that stuff, man, too much, but 'cause they pretty focused. But Shanahan ready for this. I think that.
yeah, that's a fact. All right, Vance. Let's talk about your boys. Let's talk about them Raiders. How they look this week. I don't hear you. We don't hear you. Today is the day of the audio issues. All right, he jumped off. He'll be back. Let me see if we can get his audio good. Check. All right, I'm gonna let you get it together. While you get it together, I'll talk about my team. The Cowboys looked really, really good. The Cowboys look like they got a little bit of their zhuzh back. Yes, it was against the Patriots. I get it. I get it. It's funny how we'll talk about that later. It's funny how the narrative changes after the victory. However, I loved how my defense looked. I know everybody's saying, yeah, but your offense ain't great, but my team is good. My team is good. There's been plenty of teams that had a really strong offense and a poor defense, and they still could do well. They may not win the title because defense wins Super Bowls, but they still can do really well. I feel like my team is one of them teams that everybody want to pick them apart. Yeah, everybody else good, but your quarterback's trash. Yeah, your defense is amazing, but your offense sucks. It's like, okay. As a team, we performed really well. As a team, we had to quiet some of the noise after week 3 because that loss to the Cardinals had everybody second guessing Dallas. Everybody on the same old Dallas. They ain't gonna do nothing. They gonna lose. They started strong, but they gonna fall apart. Well, I'm not saying that they put it all together perfectly. I'm not saying that they're not going to have another few games this year where they fall apart, because that is Dallas. That's what we do. However, I'm saying that overall, we look good, we look strong, we look confident, and we do have some things to make up. We have some things to work on. Our red zone offense is suffering big time. You know, you look at going into the red zone 4 times and only converting 1 touchdown. It ain't good enough. It ain't good enough. It ain't. I mean, even, and it's crazy because this is my point about how we look good. Is we still scored 38 points. Whoever scored it, the Cowboys still scored 38 points, and that's with 3 failed times in the red zone. Come on, come on. Now,
In
and
New
if
England,
they step that up, and they can go 2 for 4, even 3 for 4, especially against those strong teams, those powerhouses, that they're gonna go 3 for 4 if they make it to the red zone. Because we know some of them teams that might be on the screen right now, once they get in the red zone, you might as well put the points on the scoreboard. Dallas got to step up and beef up that red zone offense. Dak has to believe in himself. Mike McCarthy needs a new playbook. I know he said Kellen Moore wasn't it, but maybe in the middle of the night he need to go hijack Kellen Moore's red zone playbook, because we did phenomenal last year in the red zone. We was crushing last year in the red zone with Kellen Moore. Now all of a sudden we the top team, or one of the top teams. I can't remember number one or not, to get in the red zone. But I think 30th in red zone conversion. That ain't good enough. That ain't good.
yeah,
That'll get you through the Patriots. That'll get you, through the Jets. That'll get you through the Giants. It ain't gonna get you through the Niners. It's not gonna get you through the Eagles. It will not beat the Chiefs. It's not gonna happen. So we got to fix that. But overall, I felt good about this week.
yeah, that's not a bad team that you played against, though. New England, you might have beat them 38-3, but that's not a that's not how New England play.
Right.
Belichick don't put that kind of team out there. So you guys beat a good team. I mean, like, it's just that you guys was better than them.
Yeah. Just outclassed.
Yeah,
Outclassed.
yeah.
Vance Bug. Your audio good? No.
Still working on.
The Raiders don't have anything to say this week. We're just blaming the whole team. All right, so we can actually skip the Eagles talk. Vance, I know there's like the settings button that allows you to choose your mic. Just make sure that you got the mic selected, um, and we'll figure that out. But since we just got done talking about McCaffrey, let's talk about him a little more. They're saying that he's looking like the league MVP right now. Right now. I mean, I know it's only week 4, and this is what they do. Week 2 they had to talk about Super Bowl already. It's like that's just the NFL. I love that new commercial where the everybody, I don't know if y'all saw it, but like all these fans are like destroying everything. She's like, I cooked all this stuff for nothing. And she throws all the game food on the floor, and the guy's outside, he's lighting the all the team paraphernalia on fire. And I hate this. I knew it. We bought into preseason too much. And they were like, and the guy's like, hey, it was just the first play of the season. And everybody's like, oh yeah, I guess we did overreact.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the NFL. That's how it goes. But, McCaffrey pretty much put the 49ers on his back this week.
Yeah.
Four
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Four
Yeah.
touchdowns in their win over the Cardinals.
Could have had
Talk-
Yeah.
5, but
Well, the what's name pull him in? He put him in the right positions. See, McCaffrey was catching the ball, he was running the ball, he was jumping over people. I mean, he just looked like Superman, man. He was Superman last Sunday, man. So McCaffrey's a tough dude. I mean, like, they got him for a cheap price. I mean, look. look, look what they got him for. You know, the 49ers always coming up with somebody that,
Right.
you know,
Hey,
they always get somebody, man. Cause like,
close.
McCaffrey's, shoot, he's big time player, big time, pay a bunch of money for him. And they got him for like some third round draft picks or something.
But now the flip side of that is when you have some of these good organizations, not just the 49ers or whatever, but players are willing to come over to take a little less up front. They're not trying to rob the bank right away. They want to come over a chance to win a ring because at the end of the day, all of them want that ring. They want that championship trophy. To help prolong their career, at least they elevate their bank account. Give them a little bit more clout. But I think McCaffrey, he's
Yeah,
from Stanford. He came out of Stanford, so he was Bay Area dude
right,
already. So
right.
so yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
probably wanted to be a
but how do
49er.
y'all keep doing that? You get McCaffrey for the cheap, and next thing you know, he's league MVP. You get Mr. Irrelevant. Nobody wanted him, and
Hey,
next thing you know, he's undefeated. Like what is really going on with y'all Niners? Y'all got some kind of mystical what?
hey man, that's that good eye, man. Just like that I call it that Jerry West eye, man. He always scouting talent like Kobe Bryant and all of that. You know how many people went in front of Kobe, but and look what happened. So it just comes down to having a eye for some talent that people are not really uh they don't really see. They caught up and Iowa State had a good program with Brock Purdy. So the 49ers is like, well, man, we was looking at him earlier, didn't nobody take him. So instead of taking a chance on him, signing out and coming on and signing up as a walk on, let's sign the dude, man. So, but that's that eye for a talent. But when the last time a running back won MVP? When the last time anybody other than a quarterback won MVP?
Right.
So they talking
If
about
it ain't
McCaffrey. They talking about McCaffrey right now, but let Jalen Hurts and all of those other quarterbacks, uh, have a good game. Tua in Miami, and your boy from Kansas City. Let all of them have a couple of good games, and then you won't even hear McCaffrey's name no more. They can start talking about quarterbacks.
Yeah, Buffalo's quarterback looked pretty good this week too.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, Allen looked
Yeah,
good.
Allen.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny though, the NFL is such a what have you done for me lately sport because all it takes is a game or two from Allen, and people are like, he might be the front runner for MVP, and they forget all
right,
about all the interceptions he threw in week one. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
right,
3, 4 interceptions in one game,
Yeah.
forgot,
right.
completely forgot. That's why I was saying I didn't want Dak to be focused so much on interceptions because really, until you throw an interception and it ends the season, people don't care. You can throw all the interceptions you want as long as you win. That's it. You just can't have a losing
Yeah,
season throwing interceptions. You can't lead the league in interceptions and then also find your way outside of the playoffs because of interceptions, but you still got to play hard. And that's one thing I give to Josh Allen. Josh Allen plays his version of backyard street ball all the time, and
Yeah.
right,
he's gonna force it where he feels like he wants to force it. He's gonna be creative. He's gonna take chances. And hey, if that leads to a 28-7 loss, that's what it leads to. If it leads to a 48-20 win, that's what it leads to. But he's still going to be him. I do appreciate that about his play style.
yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to play in Buffalo. You just can't go there and win games in Buffalo. Buffalo's pretty tough at home.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But yeah, so we'll see. I agree with you, Steph. We'll see what they're saying about McCaffrey in a couple weeks. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. We want a strong McCaffrey. We want
Oh yeah,
everybody healthy. Yeah, we all
right.
want our teams to win, but at the end of the day, these are men. They're taking care of their families. They're living their dreams. We want everybody healthy, everybody good. Vance, are you
Right.
back yet? I need to hear what you got to say about McCaffrey. I mean, they silencing you. This is that little thing I was talking about with San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? They know how to do what they know how to do. All of a sudden, you can't talk. You know what I mean?
Right.
A 49er player is being talked about as the MVP, and now we can't hear you. Like,
Right.
Come on, Raiders. Come on, Raiders. We need to hear from
it can't figure it out. It can't figure it out.
you.
um, so, speaking of McCaffrey, I was very proud last year when we met because my defense held McCaffrey
True.
to, I think, less than 20 yards.
True.
Yeah,
Held Hugo Samuel to less than 20 yards. It
True.
was a
yeah, it
dominant.
came down to the last possession. That game came down to the last possession.
Yeah.
Absolutely did. And so let's talk about week 5, the San Francisco and Dallas, which really feels like a divisional replay. You got the same QBs. You got some of the same exact weapons. There's a few changes here and there. We added a couple of weapons. Y'all added a couple of weapons. But the people that are really making a difference on the team is the same players from last year. Y'all had Ayuk last year. Y'all had Samuels, Purdy, McCaffrey, Kittle. Same players. We had Dak, CD. We don't got Diggs right now, but we have Micah. We still got some of the
Right.
same exact players. So overall, it feels like a replay, and everybody's calling this that marquee grudge rematch. It's a grudge match, period. But right now, it feels like a rematch. Devout, what do you think about this game going into week 5?
I'm looking at let's see what both of the defenses going to step up. Whose defense going to step up this week? And then the offense, they take care of themselves. Both of them got good offenses. They got good running backs. They got good wide receivers, tight ends. The offensive line is good. But whose defense? Whose defense is gonna, just be there? Who's gonna step up this week? And so it's gonna be a tough match, and it's gonna be an exciting game to watch. So whoever wins that game, is they the front runners in the NFC, and we'll see what happens come Sunday.
Tony was here. He'd have a lot to say with you making such a bold claim about the
Right.
NFC and just these two teams. He
Well,
he'd
well,
have a
the
little
Eagles,
Right.
to say.
Eagles got to fly, and
Right.
he ain't flying today.
Right. Right.
All right, let's go down to Las Vegas and see what the Raiders have to say. The Raiders have nothing to say about the game. Oh,
That's a
snap,
tough hit.
snap. This is our week. We've been
Oh
talking about this
man.
week since preseason. How
Yeah.
do you feel going into week 5? So far, as you predicted that you guys would be undefeated. We actually both thought that we'd both be undefeated looking at our schedules. We flubbed one, so we already got an L. How do you feel about your team going into week 5?
Man, I feel real good, man. Not you still got to play the game, but I feel real good. I feel good where the 49ers are. Uh, defense, man, this is gonna be one of those games because last time the 49ers in Dallas played, Parsons was getting in, and so defense was doing their thing. So now it's the battle of the minds, the coaches, to try to figure out who got the best game plan. Learn from last time. Both teams got better. And this is a crucial win. This is a crucial win for Dallas because they faced Philly twice, another tough team, and the 49ers. This is a tough team for them. You don't want to lose these out of division games. You want to try to win a lot of these games up close. Because Seattle still playing good. They didn't count the Rams out yet. They get some of their players back. They be even better. They had a good win, but yeah, these are games right here, some tough games down the road that you got marked on your calendar, although you try not to look forward to them so you don't get side punched in the head, by a lesser team. But this game was on your calendar. Everybody had this earmarked, highlighted, and whatnot. And
Yeah.
so did the NFL. NFL, that's why they put it on a prime time, late night national TV game.
Prime time,
So
baby.
prime time. So it's gonna
Prime
be
time, baby.
break out your popcorn and whatever else, and roll up your sleeves and start throwing some punches. Let's see what happens.
I agree, man. I agree. Let me be the honest Cowboy fan and say that I would be a fool to say that I'm not a little nervous going into this game, especially looking at what happened against the Cardinals. My team historically has um, the tendency to not live up to their potential in some of their biggest moments. You know what I mean? They have the tendency to look amazing right up until you turn those lights on. Sometimes my team falls when the lights are too dim. Sometimes they fall when the lights are too bright. Right there in the middle is where they surge ahead. Now they make it into the wild card round every year. But they'll
Right.
lose to the Niners. They'll lose to the Eagles. Then they'll also lose, to the Cardinals, or they'll lose to the Commanders. Like they'll lose other games that they just should have walked through. And then right there in the middle, the Patriots, the Chargers, all those games they'll win. And so this is a big game because I do believe that no matter what they say about, let the old game, let that go. Today is a new day. Focus on the next game. All you got is what's ahead of you. You can't say that there isn't a little bit of that ghost haunting the Cowboys at this point. They've had two
Hmm.
really good years of having two really good teams that were Super Bowl contenders, and the same exact team sent them packing. That
Right.
that has to that has to be there, But like they say, or like we see in haunted movies, the ghost can either deactivate you, make you shut down and just hide under the bed, or it can activate you and make you stand up and want to kill it because you want to survive. So the question
Hmm.
is, what is my team going to do with this ghost next Sunday? Will they stand up and try to activate and kill the ghost, or will they fall to defeat and hide under the covers, waiting for mommy to come home again?
It's gonna be physical. One thing we
well,
know is it's gonna be physical.
well,
So,
we're
and
gonna see if your
Ari
quarterback shows up.
that's
You
what
could.
Arizona
We're
did
gonna see it.
last week.
We're gonna see if that quarterback gonna show up for the Cowboys. Because if they don't win, it's all about him again. So, let's see what happens. Because if they don't win the game, then you know who they gonna blame it on. So,
That's a good point. That's a good point you brought up, Deval. I'm gonna ask Steph this question. So, Steph, you know how your team wins, but let's say we get to Monday morning and you're looking back at your first L. How do you predict that your team loses? What are your
Uh,
weakest points right now where you feel like they might get taken advantage of in this area?
I would say 49ers like to run the ball, and their team, they got good, wide receivers and Debo and Kittle and Ayuk and all of them, but they ran a lot of motion, and if Dallas can stop the 49ers run game, then they got a good shot. But if it's letting the 49ers convert on third down and Dallas can't get off the field and letting 49ers run, because Shanahan's going to run the ball. Everybody
Right,
know that.
right.
So if the 49ers can't run the ball, it's going to be a tough outing because Dallas has defense has a lot of speed, and then you have to force Purdy would have to try to fit some balls in some places, and then you make yourself predictable. But I'll say if 49ers can run, they good. If they can't run the ball, they might have some problems.
That makes sense. Um, I would say, I hate to say it because everybody talks about him, and I be feeling bad to talk about my guy so often, but If we lose, it's probably because of Prescott. I'm gonna have to say it now in a tandem between Prescott and Coach McCarthy because I watched them work together on the sideline and let Dak play call and let McCarthy stand behind him and watch Dak lead the show. And they ran beautiful offenses in the preseason. Beautiful. I mean, it was efficient. It was productive. They put points on the board. It was dominant. And so now watching him in the game, I'm like, y'all have to still have that communication. And one thing that I fear the most is not even the interceptions, is that when I sit back and watch the game, I don't see as many chances being taken by Dak. I don't see the splash plays by Dak anymore. I don't see the 50-yard bombs or 40-yard passes. I see 12 yards here, 8 yards there, 12 yards. It's dink and dunk all the way down the field, which usually is okay because the defense has already put you on the 40 on the opponent's side. So
Right.
you don't need much. And so you get 12, you get 8, you get 6, you get 15. Next thing you know, in the red zone, you don't convert field goal. But your defense, next time y'all get the ball back, they score. That's 10 points. And so that's not going to work against the 49ers. You need those big plays. Ayuk is going to have a big play. You might be able to hold Debo a lot. I mean, we did it before. But you're not going to hold Debo every time y'all play. Debo is going to have a 38-yard run all of a sudden. It's just going to happen. McCaffrey's going to bust through the middle and run 28 yards. It's going to happen. I'm not seeing enough from Pollard. Like if I match them player for player, I'm not seeing enough from Pollard to say that your production is the same as McCaffrey's production. I'm not seeing enough chances at CD to say that you're able to put up the same numbers that Ayuk is putting up. We got two tight ends that we're working with, Ferguson and Schumacher. I don't see the type of production that Kittle is putting up. So it's like position for position, that's what worries me on the offense. Defense, we good. Defense, we're gonna put in that work. Y'all, Shanahan gonna have to write up something good for this defense, and you know that because last time they met, they couldn't they didn't do what they did to every other team. They
Right.
didn't put the kind of points they put on every other team. They was hitting over 30 every game. All of a sudden, they didn't get to 20. So it's like
Right.
Yeah, field goals are not going to win this game.
it's not gonna win this game. And
Right.
the only way the field goals win is if the defense is as dominant, which I don't expect them to be able to do what they did the last time they met. But if they find a way, marching under Dan Quinn, if they find a way to hold them to under 20 points, that's a possibility because even with a non-explosive offense, but a fired up defense, we've still been scoring 38, 40 points consistently. So we can score, we can win with field goals, but then the defense is going to have a perfect game.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of defenses though, if you watch Dallas defense or the 49ers defense, even the Eagles defense, when the defense start making plays, man, they catch fire, man, and just that attitude, man, they just get energized. So once they get on a play, Parsons gets in there, has a sack or two, and hurries, and they creating turnovers, and the same thing with Bolton. Man, their energy
Yeah,
from the rest of the defense, man, is crazy. It's scary.
yeah,
I could for other teams when you watch it, because then it's just a domino effect. Now that you got that other team, man, they kind of forcing plays. You done took them out of their element. They rush in. They scared to throw the ball, down the field. Then they start throwing 5-yard button hooks, and then the defense just starts playing loose when they start making plays on both sides. I watch. It's scary.
yeah. That's a fact. And we've talked about the Cowboys and the 49ers a lot, so I'm not gonna overdo it with going into the Cowboys win this week over Belichick. But let's just say we dominated the Patriots. Let's just say I heard a lot of noise before the game saying, "Oh, I don't know, the Cowboys run defense, is one of their biggest problems. And Belichick, he's amazing at run defense. He's a scientist. He's gonna figure out the perfect strategy, and Zeke is gonna run all over him. And no, that didn't happen. Zeke ran for a grand total of 16 yards after 6 carries, and one of those carries was 9 yards. So the other 5 were only 7. So nah, they did not do that. They did not get into the end zone at all, and that was, for lack of a better term, an easy win. Shout out to Bland, two interceptions, two touchdowns. The defense did their job. They did their job. So
Yeah, they
moving on. Let's talk about the Dolphins. The Dolphins drowned this week. They drowned this week. The
did.
Bills
Yeah,
ran
well,
over,
I told
ran
you that
over the
70
Dolphins.
points. It's 70 points. I told you that 70 points. Don't be looking at that 70 points and thinking that they're gonna go in Buffalo and beat Buffalo. Buffalo tough team.
Yep.
And they dominate. They dominate the Dolphins overall. If you look at the statistics, they dominate. And so, like, and Buffalo was like, look, we the team that's been getting to the AFC title games and losing to Kansas City, but
Right.
all of a sudden now Miami's much better than we are, and
Right. They're like,
they show, they show,
nah.
they show, they show how tough they are too, So
Yeah.
they just brought them, they brought Miami back down to earth. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to
Yeah.
see
Not
Damar
not
Hamlin. Even though Damar Hamlin played, he put on special teams. Just good to see him back in some action. I can only imagine how that was uplifting for the rest of
Oh yeah,
his
yeah,
teammates. So
yeah.
just even though he was playing, special teams, but just being out there making the plays, something
Yeah,
like
man.
that.
right,
So
right, right.
that's some added energy. I'm sure that
Oh
they all
yeah, that
had.
kid. Oh yeah, motivated them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think it did to the Dolphins? I mean, they definitely were flying high, dominating performances. Everybody's talking about Tua, being one number one or top 2 quarterbacks in the league, because of his performance, and then all of a sudden they get washed. They just
Yeah.
literally get washed. What do you think that did as they found themselves back in the locker room, after the clock read zeros?
Well, I think they should. I think they have to go back to the drawing board and look at that as one game. That's one game. One game don't make a full season, and go and look at the film and see what they did right and see what they did wrong, and come out next week and show up. They got to play better. They know they have to play better. They went down to Buffalo, and maybe they thought that, everybody with the hype of how all the speed that they have, and they were just gonna go down there and fly by, the Buffalo Bills, and so now they have to go back home and think about it. Okay, well, what did we do right and what did we do wrong, and look at this week, and forget about last week and look ahead for week 5.
They're gonna
Yeah.
put up 45 points against the Giants.
Oh, well,
They
oh,
play,
we'll see
yeah,
that.
they
Yeah,
play
we
the Giants this week. They're gonna put up 45 points against the Giants, and they're gonna forget all about that Buffalo
yeah.
loss. So
Yeah.
yeah, this week
Yeah.
they're gonna put up about 45 points against the Giants.
Sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna. It might seal the deal for the coach for the Giants.
Oh yeah, he's out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
Hmm.
Going to the chat, my man Jay Militant, he represents that Niner gang. He said that
Hmm.
Dallas said they're going to use Trey Lance's knowledge of their system as leverage. Hmm.
Wow, wow.
Hmm.
They
Hey,
got.
use what you
Uh,
got. You know what I'm saying? We bought him.
You
we,
know,
we bought him. We get everything he knows.
you
yeah, well,
know,
that might help him out a little bit. Trey Lance knows the offense, and so maybe he might help him out a little bit with their defense.
I
yeah. Well,
wonder.
he said he's gonna be the quarterback for the scout team quarterback. So he's gonna be trying to replicate what Brock Purdy is going to be doing and all of that. But, you know,
Yeah.
that's fine and dandy, but you got to get out there and make plays.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I felt like this was a weekend of upsets. What was the biggest upset that you guys remember this week? Like, what was that game that you feel like turned Vegas upside down on the betting lines this week?
Hmm.
Well, as far as the game, and they've been talking about it, that Kansas City Jet game at the end of the game. As far as like you got people that bet on games and and the odd makers, they set the odds and everything, but it was a
Yeah,
lot of people lost a lot of money on that game, and it's a lot of people was upset after that game, but Mahomes did what you're supposed to do. You slide and you run the clock. But
Right,
and it's just the people that gamble that's the way it goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But Mahomes did the right thing. You're supposed to slide and keep that clock going.
right,
It's not all about scoring all the time. It's about winning the game, and he did the right thing. It's just that it's people out there that like I said, you gamble and you win and you lose, and sometimes you're on the short end of the stick, and that's what happened. But uh, I think that game right there, it was a couple of controversy calls that it could have went either way. The Jets was coming back in that game. That was a pretty good game, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. The spread. A lot of us that don't bet forget about that, but them points, how much you win by, how much you lose by, it actually means a little something.
Yeah, it does.
It
It
means
does.
tens of thousands of dollars to some people.
Right,
well,
right.
yeah, and everybody was talking about Patrick Mahomes sliding, and they say, oh, you should have scored. Those points, they're only like the 10th element of a tiebreaker, where they start looking at how many points you have scored against an opponent versus how many points have been scored against you. But that's like the 10th element down on the list of a tiebreaker. It never gets that far.
Yeah,
It's tiebreakers usually who got the best conference record or in
right,
a head-to-head matchup. It never gets way down to how many points your team scored. So
right,
but
right.
those people, like you said, those people that said that they was banking on probably some one of those prop bets. How many points uh, Patrick Mahomes may score. He gonna run for a touchdown or stuff like them crazy Las Vegas prop bets that they
Yeah,
make, and they was pretty pissed probably.
yeah, yeah,
But the upset of the day, I think, was the
Oh yeah,
Texas beating Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was flying
Mhm.
high, and you got a rookie quarterback over there that's playing excellent over there in Houston. I think that was the upset of the day.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Pittsburgh not that
Texans
good
over
though, man.
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Hmm.
Pittsburgh not playing old Pittsburgh ball. They not. I don't know what it is, man, but they just seem like they stuck in second gear, man. They can't get out their way. They
yeah,
can't get it in there and start moving. But yeah, they're not a very good team right now.
Yeah, I think they hurt their quarterback got hurt too this week.
Mm.
All right, let's go to the analytical minds of the Raiders. I know that they always have something valuable to add to this NFL conversation. I don't want to leave the Raiders out. We very much are in dire need of their imaginative points and their in-depth insight. Raiders, what do you think? Oh,
oh,
all right. So, we talked about another player on the 49ers, but I do think it's time for us to finally give it up. I know the Raiders want to talk about this, but unfortunately they cannot today. But it's time to finally give it up for myself and the rest of the culture that doubted this guy. I think it's time to show some love to Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has a perfect record this year. He is leading the entire NFL in QBR at an 84.6. He's only lost one game, and that was a playoff game where he didn't lose it. He actually got injured. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not even 100% putting that on his record. So if you don't count that game, he's undefeated as a professional.
Yeah.
Let's
Hey,
talk. Go ahead and talk about your boy, Steph.
well, look here, man. I don't want to. I just tell people, man, just you know, watch the young man play. Obviously he could play the game. He playing the game at a high level with against some tough competitors. So instead, folks jumping on him, giving him a hard time, just just uh just watch the man play. And then, when it's all said and done at the end of the season, either he got it done or he didn't get it done. But last year, people was like, "Oh man, he was new to the game and didn't nobody know about him." The
Right.
coaches knew about him, and everybody watching their coaches film. Everybody watched 4 years of quarterbacking at Iowa State. If you wanted to see him, he wasn't hard to find. But I'll just say, just give a young man a chance to show what he can do in NFL, and we see where the chips fall. At the
Yeah.
end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been doing his thing. I was definitely one of the people that I was like, okay. I mean, he felt like Cooper Rush to me. Like Cooper Rush is a solid quarterback. Great. Cooper Rush went on a nice undefeated run. Great. However, nobody knows him. They don't have any tape on him. No one has a game plan for him. They've simplified the playbook so much to where he almost can't fail. They're not taking any chances. There's no high risk, no, high reward. There is none of that. So I didn't really get all hung up on Cooper Rush, and Cooper Rush should take Dak's position, and Cooper Rush should lead us to the. Slow down, slow down. Sometimes a W comes, but it still may not be that you need to change your whole game plan and do whatever got you that W. I was looking at Brock Purdy like that, like he's good, he's a decent quarterback, but nothing special. However, I still don't think he's anything special. Let me not go too far. I feel like, and I'm saying that because look at Jimmy G. Jimmy G is not taking the Raiders to the Super Bowl ever. It's never going to happen. He
No,
can go to 6 other teams. It's never going to happen. But guess who he did take to the Super Bowl? The Niners. Because the
right?
system is so strong that
Right.
even an average guy that's at least good enough can be productive, and the system will allow him to win. So when I look at Brock Purdy, that's who I see. I see like just another Jimmy G. I would say a little bit better than Jimmy G. I'll give him that because he protects the ball a little more. He trusts the play calling a little more. He's trusting his receivers a little more. So that's allowing them to put themselves in better positions. But overall, I'm not looking at him like, oh, he's the second coming. He's Joe Burrows. I'm not even big on Joe Burrows, but he's not that guy to me. However, no matter where you are, you got to play what system you play in, and he's playing the system beautifully. As much as I dislike the Niners overall, I gotta give it up to
That's
him.
okay.
And is playing the game beautifully.
That's
It's
okay.
the it's the Shanahan system.
Well, like Fred Warner says. Fred Warner says, Brock Purdy practiced against one of the best teams in the NFL every day.
Mm,
So, so that, to him, and he's saying Brock Purdy tries to fit that ball in to those wide receivers against, a top rated defense. So if he's, just like if you're playing dominoes, your game is strong if you're playing against other cats that got game. But same way with chess. I mean, you can iron sharpens iron, and that's what Brock Purdy is doing. I think was helping him in his growth in the NFL is being able to practice against a really good defense day in and day out. And they don't hold back. They come after him like Dallas and Parsons going to be coming after him. So if you got that in your back pocket and you can practice like that against a good defense, it's going to help you. If you got some kind of balls And you want to, but that's what the 49ers saying about Jimmy G is that Jimmy G wouldn't give the wide receivers really a chance to make a play. Jimmy G would throw the pass, if you had 3 or 4 steps on him, on the defender. But they're saying Brock Purdy tried to fit that ball in. So the wide receivers in them, they like him because he tries to fit that ball in. He gives them a chance, even they step by step with the defender. He gives the wide receivers a chance to make a play on the ball, and they like that about him.
All right, so Deval, with Steph's point, tell me why is my quarterback not benefiting the same way? Because he is playing against one of the top defenses last year, rated the #1 defense in the whole league every day, and I don't see him as efficient, him as confident as a Brock Purdy. And I would argue that I think Dak overall has more talent and is better as a quarterback. However, he doesn't play better than Brock. What is your opinion on this whole playing against the best team during practice and how that translates to the game?
Well, I'm looking at the offense for the Cowboys. You had a good offensive coordinator, and you let him get away to go to the Chargers, and then now your coach is trying to take over the offense, and Dak, he's not the same as is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was a different. He's he's just one of the best quarterbacks in football.
Right.
And,
And
and
it's a different era.
and then like for the 49ers system, man, you got to look at the Shanahan, he comes from his background, his father, he look what he did with Denver. Denver had an awesome offense, and then now he puts his system in the 49ers, and that's the difference. Like your system, the Cowboys, they put him in position sometime, to fail sometime. But other than that, it's just like the system. It's the system. Every day you get out there, yeah, you practice against some of the one of the best defenses in the league. But then when you get on the field, uh, now it come back to coaching. You know, is the coach going to put you in the right position to win, or is he going to put you in a position to fail? So I think that's the difference. You got the Shanahan's, and then you got the coach for Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you try to weigh those two out, without Aaron Rodgers, then I don't think he's winning a Super Bowl. And so now he has to take over the offense. I don't think that I don't think he's ready to win the Super Bowl right now.
Right. Right. Raiders thoughts? Okay. All right. So Deval,
Yeah.
it's prediction time. Let's talk about next week. We're going into week 5. Your Saints have the Patriots who just got a little bit of a whoop down this week. So they can either be fired up, want to get back at somebody, or they can be a little bruised up, from getting worked over. What do you think is going to happen in your game against the Patriots on Sunday?
Well, I'm thinking the Saints is going to bounce back. I mean, they had two bad outings. The one they gave up 18 points against Green Bay in the fourth quarter, and then this week they just uh, they didn't come to play. You got a Tampa Bay team that came in there, and ready to play. And so what I think they'll do this week is New England haven't showed us too much offense, but still they're a good football team. And so the Saints have to come out and take it to them. If you come and play like you played last week, you're gonna get it taken to you. So hopefully our defense will step up and Carr can put some points on the board. But overall, though, I think the Saints got a chance to win this game. It might be close. So everybody talk about, don't nobody want to really watch no Saints games because they just not playing, well. But hopefully, we can pull it out this week and come out with a win and have Belichick doing the same thing he did last week. There you go.
Um,
Yeah,
Kamara,
he was frustrated.
what's going on, with Kamara? I haven't been watching him lately, but at one point I was like, "Yo, they got one of the best running backs." I like Kamara. Like he to me was probably like one of the top 5 running backs in the league at one point. What's been going on with him lately?
Well, he had his first game last week and he didn't do too bad. He had like I think about 11 carries for 51 yards, but it's still I think your offense Carr is going to have to play better. I mean, like you brought him over there to be the starting quarterback and to put points on the board. We got a decent defense, so if Carr can put some points on the board and keep the offense on the field and the defense don't have to play as long, then we got a chance to win. But
Yeah,
it all come down to Carr. We brought him over there to win football games, and he's going to have to perform better than he performed in the first four games.
yeah.
But
Talk to these Raider fans. They know all about Carr and winning
yeah,
Mhm.
games.
yeah, he's just but you give him time. You give him time to pass the ball. He's a good quarterback. If you don't give him time to pass the ball, then and put that pressure on him, then I think he's a different quarterback. But
Yeah,
other than that, if you give him time, he can make plays. But you got to have an offensive line that's going to block. You got to block for
that's
him,
it.
give him time to throw the ball.
That's
So
it.
hopefully we show up this week.
Yeah, I'm telling you, last year I actually wanted Dallas to pick up Carr because I'm like, we got an offensive line that'll give him some time. He's got an arm that will, do well with the threats that we have downfield. He could be a good addition to the team. So I
Right.
agree with you. I got to beef that
Yeah.
lineup.
You got to beat the lineup. That's right.
All right, Monday Night Football looks like the Packers and the Raiders. Big time. Monday night. I need a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I need to know how are the Raiders going to do against the Green Bay Packers who have looked really good. They have looked really good this year. Oh,
Oh no!
oh, we don't think that the Raiders are going to be able to pull it off. Is Jimmy G back in the lineup next week? Do we know?
He should be back. He should be back this week. He was in a concussion protocol last week, but he should be
Right.
back this
Right.
week. He
Okay.
gives them a chance to win. Green Bay, they haven't showed, that look, they came back and beat the Saints, in the fourth quarter and won that game. But then
Yeah.
look how they played against Detroit. So the Raiders
Yeah.
got a chance, to the Raiders not that bad. Look, last week they had a chance to beat the Chargers. It
Right.
came down to the last play, where it could have been a tie game going into overtime, and that was with a backup quarterback. So don't count them out. They still got a shot. They might beat Green Bay. You never know, but you give them a shot. They could win.
And it is a possibility because y'all got weapons. Y'all got weapons. The question is, will those weapons be utilized properly? That's it. I mean, you got one of the top running backs in the game, one of the top receivers in the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got that. So we're gonna see Monday Night Football. All right, Steph, we're gonna end it off with the replay of the divisional, the
Ooh.
replay of last year. The 49ers and the Cowboys will face off Sunday night, prime time. Who you
Prime
got?
time.
Who you got? Tell him how you rooting for Micah
Man.
to do his thing. Go ahead.
Man, look at here. Like I told you. I told you. I got to stick to my guns. I told you we was gonna be undefeated. I told you we was going at least 7-0, right?
You
And
did say that.
we right. So we
So far, so
you know
good.
we almost there, but it's gonna be a good game, you know. Got to go with my boys. It's going to be physical. And the 49ers are playing with a chip on their shoulder because they thinking about what could have been last year against Philly. They couldn't even really play against Philly last year because the injury happened so early in the game. So they kind of like, we need to win all of the games that we can win. So when you get down to the end, it's usually the healthiest team in the end wins, especially in key positions. So I look for a good physical game. But I look for Shanahan to do his thing, and I look for Nick Bosa, for him and Michael Parsons to have that one-on-one contest against each other, to see who can get the most sacks. So yeah, and my
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
hey, we got to
Yeah, we
we got
see you.
we got to do this. We got to do this. Even though the Raiders are in Nevada right now, they still a Bay Area, man. Man, we got to do this. We got to do this for the Bay Area, man. The whole Bay Area, So yeah,
There you go. Right there across the water.
we
Yeah,
got to we got to do this for the whole Bay Area.
I agree. It's gonna be. I think this is one of them games that's gonna come down to what play had blown coverage and someone stormed into the end zone. What call didn't get made by the refs and that turned the tide of the game. There's gonna be some moment that either of the fanships will argue about come Monday morning, thinking, if that moment, man, if he hadn't whether it's a pick, whether it's a blown coverage, or an injury, something like that, I feel is going to be, unfortunately, the tale of the tale because these teams are very well matched up. I mean, you talking about top two defenses, talking about offenses that have been really good. Neither one have been clicking perfectly. You know what I mean? Both
Right,
offenses, I feel like, are still getting their legs under them. McCaffrey clearly got his legs. He don't need nothing else. But the rest
right.
of the offense is still putting it together. I'm definitely going to go with my Cowboys. And I'm going my Cowboys simply because, and I'm not even voting with my heart over my head. I'm literally voting what I feel because one thing the Cowboys have done really well is when it's time to play the big games, they step up their play. They make mistakes, which usually cost them the game, but they always step up how hard they play. And looking at how the 49ers this year, let's call it what it is. It was a close game against the Cardinals at a certain point. They've had a couple of close games against some teams that I was like, hold on, what's happening? Hold on, they may not pull this one off. Dallas had one game where everybody can say the same thing. They didn't look how they've looked. They had just lost Diggs. They looked like they took their foot off the gas. They looked like they were feeling themselves and they didn't have to play, and they let a trash team come in and win. But every other game, it hasn't been I don't know. They put their foot on the necks of whoever they were supposed to beat outside of the Cardinals. And so, because you have this ghost, because the 49ers have sent us home multiple times now, I feel like the Cowboys, I told you at the top of the year, I said, I think this year the Cowboys are going to surprise the 49ers. Now, I didn't say we were going to beat them because I didn't know yet. We hadn't even gotten to the season, but I felt like we're going to surprise you. Whether it's, dang, that was a hard game. We barely won by a walk-off field goal, or, man, we went into overtime. Whatever it is, it ain't going to be, oh, they just the Cowboys. Or it ain't going to be that. So it's going to be a low-scoring game because there's two great defenses. It's going to come down to that QB IQ, which Brock Purdy has an 84% passer rating. Got to give it up for him. But my defense leads in turnover conversion to points. Got to give it up for that. So it's going to be a close game, but I think we take it.
Get
Deval,
your
I'll end with
popcorn
you.
ready.
Yes, sir. What are your thoughts? Hold on. Did you give me your thoughts on the 49ers and Cowboys already?
Yeah.
Earlier we were talking. Or that's what we were talking. All right. So we will end um, with I'll let you represent the Eagles. We don't want to do the Eagles like that. So
What
let you
Yeah, we
speak
do.
on the Eagles.
what
The
I
Yeah,
Eagles
we do.
are
what
you
I
No
said
think
Eagles
about the
flying
Eagles?
over here.
the Eagles been flying high. You know what I mean? 4
Yeah,
0. They're one of the last two teams that are undefeated in the NFL. Like the other teams, they haven't necessarily looked dominant. They just been figuring it out. Like Tony said, sometimes just comes down to luck. And they've kind of been the ones to always get that moment that tips the luck to their side. What do you think about the Eagles? And I guess even bigger, how do you think that the Eagles will do against the Rams Sunday afternoon?
I think the Eagles is one of the top teams in the league. They playing in a nice division. That division over there is no joke. You got Dallas. You know the only one that's losing is the Giants. Washington's playing tough. You know that's a tough game every year. You know the Eagles and Washington. That's a tough game. So you know everybody figured that game was going to be close, and it was.
Yeah.
But this week against the Rams, the Rams are just they're gonna be out. They're gonna be outnumbered. The Eagles is coming in there. This is a team that went to the Super Bowl, so we know that they're capable of getting back to the Super Bowl. If they have a home field advantage once again, it's a possibility they might get back to the Super Bowl. But this week, the Rams are in trouble. I think the Rams in trouble. I think it's gonna just and then if the Rams don't have a quarterback, going for them, it's gonna be a blowout, because the Eagles one of the top teams in the league, and I think that they're gonna beat the Rams this week.
All right. Well, if your prediction holds true and Steph's prediction holds true, they will still be the only two undefeated teams in the league come Monday morning. So we'll look forward to it. All right, everybody. Thank y'all. Appreciate you. Raiders. Anything before we go? That's it. I love it. All right.
Gotcha. All right.
Let's go. I appreciate y'all.
All right.
Let's stay tuned. Enjoy the games this week. Get your food ready. Can't wait to talk next week to see how everything went. Some
Let's
Yeah.
go
very interesting
Saints.
games going on. Let's go. All
Go
right, y'all.
Niners.
Peace
All
out.
right.
Later.
Peace.
All right, y'all. That has been episode 44 of the Pod is Good podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed the scoreboard. I hope you enjoyed this portion of hold on real quick. Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. I got you. I thought he was saying something to me. All right. Yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. If you did, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all those things. Stay tuned with us. We will do the scoreboard every Tuesday. I said 4:30. It's probably going to start closer to 5 o'clock. So I'll be putting that out there. 5 o'clock every Tuesday. The Pod is Good podcast. We'll have our segment, the scoreboard, every Tuesday when we recap the NFL. There's some other sporting events coming up, some good boxing matches coming up that we'll talk about. We should have talked about Canelo because that was a good fight against Charlo. We'll deal with some sports on a deeper level going forward. But as of now, just stay tuned with us every Tuesday. Keep it locked. Jump in the chat. Let us know how you feel. I know there's a lot of Eagles fans, Cowboy fans, 49er fans, Saints fans, Raider fans. I know y'all out there. We want to get y'all involved. Want to hear y'all perspectives, y'all opinions on what you feel about your team, how your coaching is going, what your season is looking like, all of that. All of that. That's what we're here for. Have a little fun talking sports. Y'all know how I go. I am your man, Cashmere, California. I will holler at y'all on the next one. Y'all be safe out there. Peace out.